Alright, I am live. Good to go. Good to go. Let me make sure the audio is getting captured. That is perfect right there, I believe. Alright, so I'm going to do a tier list first off of Valorant agents and where I rank them and where I feel like they are. But here's what I'm going to do. I am going to just put them in my preferred category. And then I will maybe make some changes at the end. This is my initial reaction. Gonna go off certain maps, probably like playable on most maps in general. Not all of them, but some of them at least. Such as Ascent is gonna be a huge play because we do get that sometimes. Pearl is becoming the new type of thing that everybody's really playing, so I think Pearl is gonna play into that. I think Breeze is something that's really important because a lot of people don't really like that map, but it does come in the queue pretty often. Another thing that does come in the queue pretty often is Bind. Bind is a good one. I really like Bind. Personally, I think Bind is a really good map, and I think there's a lot of good agents you can play on there, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's the best, to be honest. I would say that it's an average map. It's not as good as Icebox, in my opinion. I think Icebox is one of the better maps that we have, but not really many people agree with that. That's fine. What I will say is that I think most of these agents aren't horrible. I think a lot of them are playable. I mean, there are some that are not great, and you don't really ever see in comp or customs or ever, to be honest. But I do like some of them that other people do not like. You're free to make your own tier list. But I want to start off my tiers here. Lowest one is 0 hours played. This is a player. This is an agent where if I were to check your stat tracker and you have more than 3 hours played with this person, you shouldn't be over silver. Like you're probably bronze. You're probably iron. Not a great pick. If you main them, if you play them consistently, obviously, you should not be above silver. Playing customs, something you can just kind of mess around with. Maybe you play a couple times in unrated. Maybe you like to try it in comp once, but it didn't work, so you never played it again. Decent but not great is something that you play here and there in comp, but you don't want to play it all the time because you know you're either not going to frag or it's not going to help the team. It might not be great for everything. Almost there means that something that is often played in comp, but doesn't necessarily need to be there. It can be there, but it doesn't need to be there. Most likely you'll see a couple people playing this every time you queue, but you're not going to see it every single time you queue. And you shouldn't. Must have. This is an agent that you need. If you do not have this, it is going to be a struggle to win. And I think there's only a few agents that are going to go into the must-have, not 5, because I don't think that there's 5 must-haves. I think there's only a few that you really want in that comp depending on the map. But let's get started. The first one is Breach. I honestly think Breach is a decent, but not great. You can play him sometimes, but you don't want to always have him. You know, he's decent for some maps because his ult is really good, but sometimes it's not as good as other agents. Not a huge fan. You can play him a couple times. I don't personally ever play him, but I can see why. The blinds are really good. Post plant's really good, but not great. Not great. Brimstone. Brimstone is my least favorite, maybe second to least favorite smokes. There's a small range on his smokes, which aren't. It's not too bad, but it's not as good as the other smokes and how wide they can be. His molly's really good for that post plant or blocking off an area. But to be honest, I'd say he's also decent, but not great. He's somebody who I can see if you want to play him instead, you can play him. But I don't think you should see him all the time. I don't really think he's a smoke that's really that important. Like maybe he's almost there. You do see him really often, but I personally am not a huge fan of Brim. Stims never really get used by anybody who even plays them or mains them. I don't understand why people want to play Brim if they don't want to use his Stims at all, but that's fine. Cypher, Cypher is a play in customs. Cypher you can play a couple times and mess around, find some cool spots, maybe find some lines, but the only really good map for him is probably Ascent. I mean, there's some good lineups for Ascent. Maybe Bind, but there's a lot of better agents that can do better than Cypher and Comp. And yeah, just not somebody who I want to see on my team all the time. Camera good, but not great. Jet. Jet is almost there. Jet's really good. Before she had her very bad update of you cannot use all your knives more than once. Didn't really do too much. Probably still would have had a must have. Then she got a dash recoil, and like you have to start it first, so you can't dash immediately, and then like there's a timer on it. I don't think it's a must have. Omen. Omen is a must have. Omen is the greatest smoke that you can get. Omen has great TPs, great ult for good opportunities. The blind is just such a good blind if you know how to use it. Smokes can go really far. You can use it to bait a site. You can use it to cover your site. You can use it to cover mid really well. Pretty much all over the map, he is the best smokes, and I would say he's a must-have for that comp. Phoenix. Phoenix is almost there. Phoenix is like, I don't necessarily think you need him. I don't think there's a point to have Phoenix. His ult's decent. Like, his ult's really good to get on site and, you know, really good to get those frags. But when it comes to post-plan, he's got no help. When it comes to rushing into a site, you're most likely going to get blind by him if you're on his own, if he's on your team. Like, it's not really going to help down much. But I can see, like, his molly's decent. Blinds can be decent. If you're good at aiming, you're really decent. But to the agent itself and what else you could play, he's almost there. Just almost there. You don't necessarily need him. Raze is decent. Raze is top decent, but not great. And let me put that over this guy. Raze, the only reason I do not put Raze in almost there is because I don't necessarily feel like people who play Raze are good enough to play Raze. If you are good enough to play Raze, Raze is either a must-have or almost there. But most people that you see in anywhere Diamond and below should not be playing Raze. They do not know how to use the blast packs. They don't know how to use a grenade to its fullest. I don't either. That's why I don't play her. I think it's an ascendant up where you really know how to use it, and you don't really see Raze in much of that. So I would say that she's not almost there, and she's not a must-have in comp. Sage is top almost there. Sage, you don't necessarily need heals. I don't think that you are going to have that time to play heals, and when you do play heals, it's really annoying because you know if you're not 5-stack, the rest of your team, even if you are 5-stack, the rest of your team is going to annoy the shit out of you for heals, and you know you can only heal one, so then maybe somebody's going to get mad that you didn't heal them. The reason I put her in almost there, though, is the wall is a really good stop from a full push. Only problem is, you know, if somebody does play Raze, they can hop over it, or you can get a counter wall from a Sage, so you have to really pay attention to that wall. And then the slow is a slow. I mean, it slows them, so it does slow them. That's nice, I guess. So yeah, almost there. Sova. I don't think Sova's a must-have. Like, I don't think you have to have him, but I think he's better than Chamber, better than these. I think he's right under Sage. I think his shocks are decent. I think you don't really see many people playing Sova good either. Like, you see some lineups with him, but you don't see too much with him. It's alright. It's okay. It's not that bad. I'd say if you know how to use that recon dart, I mean, it can be really useful. Like, it can be really useful, but it's not that useful. You know, I'd say as soon as I took Split out, it was like Sova became a little better in my opinion, because Split was something that we got often in queue, and Sova didn't really have too much good lineups because it was such a boxy map. you know, if you take and you put breach, not breach. If you take and you put Cypher on those specific maps, like those, they're such good places to put those cameras compared to where Sova can put them on split specifically. But if you do take all the other maps and you put Sova in it, you put Sova in Ascent, great dart places. Put them in Haven, great dart places. So Pearl, I'm not really sure. I don't really like Pearl, to be honest. I mean, Pearl we're getting a lot, and I don't really see too much Sova, but it's a great counter, and his ultimate is really good. I think Sova's ultimate is really good post plant, and unless you don't know how to use it, then I guess you stink and shouldn't be playing Sova. Next, Viper. Viper is a must-have. Viper is a must-have for a lot of maps. The way people play Viper is the reason people don't think Viper should be a must-have, but Viper is probably the best for Breeze, Fracture, Haven, Bind. I mean, just that wall goes so far, so well, and you've got an ultimate that can help you really clear a site, get down a site, and just hold it for that round to be won. Mollies, especially on Breeze, like you need Viper on Breeze. If you don't have Viper on Breeze, it's a lot more difficult. But if you just throw your smoke cloud in one area and then you try to watch them rush and you throw your Viper mollies on it, like it's very damaging and it stops them from being able to push. And if one pushes out, the rest of them can't, and you get an easy pick. I think it's a very great one. Reyna's a must-have in comp. Reyna is the best duelist. Doesn't really matter. I think she has great blinds, best blinds. Doesn't plan your own team. Ultimate, shoot faster. You can literally vanish, disappear. Nobody knows where you went. Perfect plays. And a healing. I mean, you don't need healing if you play Reyna because you just need a kill and then you can heal. And it's kind of just like, well, what's the point of me having heals if I can just heal myself? And it definitely eliminates that factor of Sage needing to heal more people, meaning that somebody can get a heal and Reyna doesn't necessarily need it because she just needs a kill. So I think Reyna is the best duelist above all of them. Best one to play. I don't play her anymore. I used to, but great agent. KJ, you're decent, not great. I don't feel like I need to explain. She can hold down a site pretty well. Mollies are good. Post plan. Ult can be good. Ult can be countered very easily. All you have to do is really shoot her alarm bot, shoot her stuff, shoot her turret. It's all her stuff is really easy countered. Or you just kill her and it's all gone. Or if she goes too far out of range, it's all gone. So then she really has to just stick to a site. And if they're hard pushing, she has to recall that. Then there's a recall time, and then she has to put it back down. And if you put it back down, it's kind of like, oh, well, I'm right here. And it kind of helps, but then you just break it again, and then there's another delay time. And then she can't use it. And then if her mollies are on a different site, she can't use her mollies. She kind of has to use them for post plant on attack. And if you shoot them, then she becomes pointless because then you can't use post plant, so you don't want to stand too far away. But then if you stand too far away and rely on them, they shoot them, you have to run all the way, they've already got it halved, then they either kill you or there's more than one, and then it's just kind of just this whole problem. You don't really need her. I don't think you need her at all. Sky's a must-have. This is probably my last must-have. Sky is the best heals. Sky can heal all four of your teammates to 100 if you all get in the circle. So you don't really have to pick somebody. You can just say, hey, come over here, get it. A bird, blinds, they're decent, not great, but they do work. I mean, for heals, blinds are great. Fly them out. Kind of going down. I could put her in almost there just because of how her blinds are now, like the delayed time. And then the dog, I mean, you can't see too much in there, I guess. Like, it's not the best thing, but it's good. It's just good. Yoru, Astra, KO, Chamber. All right, so Chamber, I really like Chamber. I like how he goes. I like how he really just is able to go across map if you know how to play those, like especially on Bind. Breeze, he can TP really quickly. Ascent, you can get from site to site pretty easily. I mean, he's just a pretty good almost there. Ult is decent if you know how to use it. You just have to be good at knob. personally, I don't use any of his sheriff darts, but people who do know how to use them and have really good aim, those people are very good. Those people know how to use chamber to their best. I'm very impressed. All right, this is my main. So Neon is my main. I main Neon a lot. Like I've kind of been playing a more Omen and Viper when it comes to Breeze and playing a little bit of Chamber, but Neon is my main duelist, and I don't think that she's even must have. Like I don't think she's there. I'm not sure if she's almost there. Like I don't think you necessarily need her, but I like to play her. I think she's really good when it comes to frags and stuff, but yeah. Then I would say I'd probably put her. I think she needs to go here, but I don't think she's last. I think Chamber needs to go right here, and she needs to go right there. Jet's no, Jet's not as good. Jet's a little worse. Fade. Ooh, yeah, you're just decent to be honest. I'm gonna go back and take this moment. Uh, you can play him in custom. Like he's not that bad, but you don't want to play him in customs because there's no point. Astra is somebody who can be decent, play him in custom, maybe one game in unrated. Yoru is just really funny, so maybe you can put him in decent, but he's gonna be last in decent. Like not great. You don't want to see him. You might want to see him once or twice. Breach, I think I'm gonna keep him there. Brim, I might change up to almost there. No, you stay down here, but you're gonna go in front of them. Raise, whatever. Anybody else who I think I can move? Phoenix, you do want to see sometimes, but not all the time. Neon, I'm gonna honestly put Neon in decent, but not great. You don't really want to see her. Nobody really likes when they see her. Nobody really likes when I lock her in, but it's fine. These four perfect to have. I think like if you're gonna have a team, if you really want a good team, those two are perfect to have. Smokes. Um, I think Omen's still better than Viper when it comes to smokes, but I think that if you don't have an Omen, you want a Viper. If you don't have a Viper, you want an Omen. If you want heals that badly, Sky is the heals. Sage is not the heals to go to. Reyna, number one duelist that should always be locked. Not auto locked because that's kind of cringe, but locked in for sure should definitely be Reyna. These five could maybe. I mean, Sova's the only one I see that would really be able to get a jump up to like must have to have that 5 stack. Maybe decent but not great. I mean, Reyna's not Reyna. Ray's. I think Ray's has to stay there. These two, like I could see Cypher coming up to decent but not great, but I don't really want to see him in my comp because I don't think he's that useful. KO needs to have 0 hours played. If you have more hours, if you have more than 1 hour with KO, it's a little disappointing. His ult is fine, you live, but you go down and then it's kind of like, oh, somebody has to res me, please res me, and then you hear them resing, so you just peek, and then they can't really do anything while you're resing, so you kill them, and then you just wait, and then KO automatically kill himself. So there's that. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a decent list. I'd say like that's the best I can do for a list. I mean, those are your top four, bottom five. The rest is whatever. You don't really need to see them. Don't really care. But if you're gonna have a 5 stack, you want to see these people here. You don't want to see anybody really here, but you're gonna see her. You're gonna see him. You're gonna see her. You're gonna see her. Like, you're gonna see these people played. But these are the people. Like Fade's the only one that I actually think people get the most kills with. But if you just shoot her stuff, it's not that difficult. Like it's not that hard to go against Fade. Her ult's good, but not great. I think this is a perfect embodiment of all these agents. Like good, but not great. I wouldn't play them. I mean, Breach, maybe I could put him up here just because of all of his stuff. I think I will put him up here because I do like to see him sometimes. Like, I do like to use him once, maybe. No, you're going back here because no, I don't think so. Never mind. Yeah, I'd say this is the perfect. I'd say Omen's better than Viper. Viper's better than Sky. Sage is probably the best. No, so is better. So I'd say that's perfect. That is the perfect tier list right here. Perfect tier list. 100%. All right, and I'm going to stop the